that the definition of an agent is someone who has been authorized either expressly or by conduct or by the implication to act for another party which is called for the principal. So there are three words over here. Authorized, right? Okay, authorized to act, authorized to act for another party which is called partner principal through expressly, by conduct, or by their implication. Is that okay?
Yes.
When the authorization is coming, so there are the two things which are coming with this. Or when we do say authorization, so there are the two things we are referring to. What are those? Authority. And authority will always come with a responsibility, right? And you will see that the authority which is given will be given only after considering what is the responsibility we do have, huh? Okay. For example, if I'm your agent for suppose for a thing, if you wanted to sell a car and I'm being as an your agent, so what my responsibility to get the car sold, Hana? And you have authorized me to act on that behalf, and you are saying, okay, you will help me in selling the car. So I am authorized to act in order to proceed, or in order to make it possible that your car can be sold. So this is basically what I'm doing. I've been authorized, I have a responsibility against that I have been authorized to act after you asked me. If you have asked me, so it is basically the expressly, right? Sometimes what happens is that you are not someone who has been, you are asking someone, or you are very not saying to, you're not looking for an agent very specifically. But if someone comes or helps you in getting your car sold, in that case he becomes an agent. This is one of the scenario which you will be learning, looking inside the chapter further on. But for the time being, the authorization or the authority can be given from the principal to the agent through three ways: expressly, impliedly, or conduct. Okay, done.
Yes.
Hmm. Therefore, the agent on the authorization of the principal enter into the contract on the principal behalf. Hereby, the agent is not liable to the contract. Rather, it is the liability of the principal, but it is limited to when the agent is working, or agent is doing work within the authority. So, Samvit or Siddhant, when you will be assigning me some of the authority, and if I'm behaving inside that authority or within that authority, so what I'm doing is just exactly what you've asked me to do, so, Hana, because you know what is the authority label you're giving to me, Hana. So whatever I will be doing is just nothing but whatever you know, that whatever you have asked me to do so, and whatever the right you have given to me to do so, Hana.
Yes.
So in that case, the responsibility will remain with the principal, the one who is giving the authority to the agent. Huh? Authority cannot be given from the agent to the principal, but sometime it happens that agent might work, or they might, for example, if agent has not been hired correctly, but agent is acting by their conduct, in that case it will be on the principal whether they want to verify it, or whether they do not want to verify it. If they want to verify it, in that case, if they're thinking that agent has done something or something beyond what has been authorized to do so, but still that can be approachable, that can be something, that can be something we can manage. In that case, the principal will authorize whatever the extent power he has used as an agent, right? Other than that, hello.
Yes.
But when it is like that, agent has done something beyond their power, but principal think or does have a thought that he has done something which should not have been done. In that case, the principal will not be verifying the authority, or the work has been attempted by the agent beyond the authority. In that case, the agent will be liable. Okay. So the liability will remain with the principal in most of the cases or general rule, but until it is also need to take care that we do not fall, or as an agent do not fall, that they have worked something beyond the power. And if they have done something beyond their authority, in that case, it will be checked by us whether the principal is going to verify this, rectify this or not. If it is going to be rectified, in that case, the principal will be liable, otherwise the agent will be liable. This is the whole case scenario you will be learning about the agency law, but something we'll be seeing later down in the session. A director is an agent of his company, and a state agent is appointed by the owner of the property to find the buyers. Okay, done.
Yes.
Hello. Yes. Now we will learn about what are the type of agency relations are there. What I do mean by the relations, so what I'm referring to, मतलब जहाँ पे agency बन रहा है ना? So it could be by expressly, impliedly, or by necessity. Just focus on these two. What you can able to understand by these two? Hello, Siddhant Samit, would you please tell me this? Hello.
Yeah. In express agreement, the principal he directly appoints someone as his agent. In implied agreement, he indirectly appoints someone as his agent.
Hmm. So
And
here the
necessity, I'm not
no
sure.
we were talking about this two only. So in the expressly means there is an expressly agreement through orally or through in writing between the principal and agent. When it talk about the implied, in that case the principal does not expressly appointed agent but does so by his conduct or relationship, right? When someone in retail store wearing the store uniforms tries convincing you to buy the product, this does not include the Apple fan voice you will find in the Apple store, right? So what I do mean, this is so true. For example, there is a showroom in which you are going there, and someone who is in uniform and they try to convince you, so they will be acting as an agent for the company they are working. Although they are an employee, but if you look around, the directors are also an employee of the company, but they are working in a way to promote or run the company. But then how they will be known as in the agent of the company. So the same way we will be seeing that the people or the staff or the staff of the store who are there, who are trying to convince you for the product, who are facilitating you the contract, what the product, in that case they will be known as in the, and there will be an implied agreement between the two. Okay. If we talk about the third point, which is there, the third type of the agency law, that will be the necessity. What does it mean? For such as agency to exist, four conditions need to be met. What does it mean? That if these four conditions will be there, in that case, it will lead to one type of the agency that will be known as a necessity. By the word necessity, what is your take on this? Something which is necessity by the nature, huh? Something which is needed, Hana? Hello.
Yes.
So if principal property is interested means something given to them. Huh? If the principal property is interested to the person, all four conditions need to be met. Okay. An emergency makes it necessary for the agent to act. It is impossible to communicate with the principal in this situation. The agent act in the interest of the principal. For example, there is in SIP. Okay. Hello.
Yes.
ठीक है? There is in SIP boy, right? Principal is asked to transfer. Principal is asked to transfer the goods from one place to another. Okay, done. In this example, the SIP boy who is transferring the good from one place to another. So don't you think so? Even he is a driver who will be roving from one place to another, the ship. But the principal is entrusted the property or the goods to the person. Yes or no?
Yes.
If anyhow, because of anything, any reason, if any emergency comes, right? If, for example, if the boat started to sink, huh? In that case, it is some sort of an emergency, huh? Like boat started to sink. But when it is happening, you as a ship boy might not able to contact the principal. You might not able to inform them that this is what happening, what I can do with your goods. Okay. Hello.
Yes.
So the
Yes,
principal property is interested to the person. Second point is that the emergency makes it necessary for the agent to act. Hana, there was an emergency against which, so for example, there was a ship which is now sinking, and because it is now sinking, and agent might not able to call. For example, agent might not able to call the principal, and the boat is sinking. In that case, the ship boy will be trying to do something to save the his ship or the goods. Yes or no?
Yes.
The ship he is trying to save will be interest of the ship the person who is driving, but the goods he will be trying to save will be because of the interest of the principal. Yes or no? Hana?
Yes.
So the necessity, the or the agency relationship by the necessity will arise where there are the four condition. The four condition are that the principal property is entrusted to the person. The person who has been entrusted with the property is not an agent when the property is entrusted to them. Okay, they are not the agent at that moment. Okay, they will become agent when this all three things will happen: when there is an emergency situation, when it is impossible to communicate with the principal, or when the agent act in the interest of the principal, or it is happening when the it is not possible to communicate with the principal. Okay, if these all later three things happens, in that case it will become the agency law by the necessity. Okay, is I'm clear on this?
Yes.
For example, airline was supposed to deliver a large order of the shipping glass to Pavxi. This is basically the they have transit. It does mean airline. So this is basically the medium they have taken to transport. So they will become the agent. But when they will become the agent, when there is an emergency situation, communication is not possible, or when the agent would be working in the best interest of the principal. Airline was supposed to deliver the large order of the shipping glass to Pav XY. Since no one collected the order on time and communication with Pav XY was not answered, Tensed has to store the goods in his warehouse to prevent them from the loss by the thief. So what he's doing? The communication was not there. Is there any possibility of the communication? No. Hana? Storing the good into the warehouse is what he's doing just to ensure that good do not loss. So he's just trying to do what? Give the security to the goods, Hana?
Yes.
Huh. If he's trying to give the security to the goods, so he's acting in the best interest of the principal. Okay? So in this case, the tenant was entitled to warehouse costs as it has become the agent of the necessity. Because he has become the agent by the necessity, so whatever the expenses he has incurred on the interest of the principal will or can be recovered. Okay? Hello? Is it okay? So
Yes,
this
sir.
airline will be charging two things: the delivery cost or delivering the large order and plus the warehouse, huh? They had a contact for the delivering cost, but the warehouse came into the picture when there was a relationship by the necessity. Yeah? Done. Now you will see some of the cases which will further help you out in understanding the concept. So whatever held it has been the what was the decision of the court, right? You might see one or two question might be there from here. At least one question might be there. The possibility are like 70 to 80% that one question will be there in your section B. Or ultimately, you will see this topic will not go without getting tested. Okay. Now, from the case study that we are going to learn, what you need to take care is that you do not need to learn the date. You do not need to remember the name of the parties. All what you need to remember the plus rule and application. Okay. Hello. Done.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the example that we discussed that agency by necessity is the rule, Hana. From here till we discuss the agency by necessity was an example of the agency by the necessity is an example of giving rise to basically this is a rule, Hana. This is one type of the agency law. But if I talk about the application, so what was the application? Application was that he agar if it by the agency by necessity may if agent has expended something to procure to make safety of the goods or the principal, in that case he can recover the cost. So the last line that we have been through is basically the application of the agency by necessity. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
The cases which you're going to read now or for other cases that you will be seeing in across all the syllabus area of the law paper, you do not need to remember the date, not the name. All you just need to know the rule and the application. Okay. Fact are basically the reasons what are there in the case, right? Fact means कि case में क्या है, case किसका बना हुआ है. If you talk about the held, it is basically the decision which is made by the court. Is it okay?
Yes.
A brought skins as an agent for B, but was unable to send them to P because of prevailing war conditions. Since A was also unable to communicate with a P, who they are referring to, if A has brought the skin for has an agent for the P, so the P will be the principal, yes or no?
Yes.
Hello. But now you will see that since he was not able to communicate with P, so he sold the skin before the end of the war. He was not an agent by the necessity because he could have stored the skins until the end of the war. There was a no real emergency. Okay. Even though he wasn't, he has brought something for the principal as an agent. Huh? And second point, they are mentioning that the communication was not possible there. Huh? But have you sold? So you are selling the goods, right? You are selling the goods which you have brought for the principal. So is this the best interest or what? The best interest would be that you could have saved the stored the skins, right? Hana?
Yes.
Huh? You could have make the storage and you could have stored. So there was a no urgency to make a sale. If in the fact it would have been written that it was an urgency to sell, otherwise it will become or it will become the penalized because this is something illegal to store. In that case, it would have become the agency by relations, agency by necessity. But if this has been sold or when we do have an option to store, in that case, you will see that this will not be considered as in the agency by necessity. Okay, done.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So this was a decision by the court. Now we will learn about the second case, which is there, Great Northern Railway by Stephen, 1874. So would you please just give it a reading for this for a 1 minute? I'm coming. There was a contact between two parties whereby G and R. What does it mean? Anyone of you please know? Samit, do you know this?
So what is your question?
What do you mean by G and R?
No, sir, I don't know.
So this is basically the document which you provide to the document which says that good, it should have been received note. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. In the context of the case, if this does mean anything else, and I will be explaining you that later, and I will be correcting on. But for the timing, this is basically what happened. That so there was a contact between the two parties where the good receive note agreed to transport the different GNR. What it could have been, I think this is something else different. Allow me a minute, guys. Huh? I'm just checking that. Okay, done. Guys, hello.
Yes, sir.
So this is basically the Great Northern Railway. Huh? There was in contact between the two parties whereby the GNR means Great Northern Railway was a way through which the transportation was about to take place. Agreed to transport the defendant horse. So if I'm saying defendant, so what other party would be here? There can be the two party in the contact. Huh? If one is in defendant, so one other would be,
Yeah.
huh?
Claimant.
Huh, claimant. So you
Claimant.
remember that, huh? Done, done, done. So the point is that if they are very specific to use it, agree to transport the defendant horse. So who is going to defend themselves? The person who is looking forward to get their horse transferred to a particular railway station from where it would have been collected. Okay. When no one was arrived to pick it up, the station master have successfully having tried unsuccessfully to contact the defendant. It does mean communication was not able. Then place the horse in a stable overnight. Okay. So GRNR was entitled to recover the cost of stabling because it has become the agent of the defendant by the necessity. Yeah. Why it has become? Because there was no other person to pick up the horse. Second thing, there was no way to communicate. Hai na? Both of these two things has made the GNR, the Great Northern Railway, the agent by necessity at that time. Okay. Are we clear on this? Are we clear on this?
Yes, sir.
If
Yes,
you
sir.
look through the other case that we do have, the sense and because AMS agree to store as furniture. Some considerable time later, M decided that he needed the storage space for his own use. In this case, M. Miklos agreed to store S furnitures. Some considerable time later, M, the person who was storing the S furnitures, decided that he needed the storage space for his own use. He tried to contact S to get the furniture removed, but was unable to do so. It does mean the communication was not there, na? So he sold the furniture. When S found out, he sued M for wrongfully disposing of the furniture. It was held that M was liable. Held means the first decision of the court was that कि जो M था वो liable था. His argument that he has acted as an agent of necessity in disposing of the furniture were dismissed. Court has said कि जो आपने अर्जी लगाई थी ना कि आप एजेंट बाय नेसेसिटी हो, आपने डिस्पोज जो फर्नीचर किया था, दैट वाज अ रॉन्ग थिंग, हाँ. सिंस ही हैज सोल्ड इट इमर्सली फॉर हिज ओन कन्वीनियंस, हाँ. So you are an agent. If I would be storing any of the my any of my furniture at your place, okay, and because you needed that storage for yourself, and if you gonna, so you gonna tell me this first, or you gonna make this space for me, क्योंकि आपका काम है स्टोरेज में, तो आप ये देखोगे ना कि वे what other way you can create for me to store my goods, because there isn't contact between me and you. If you need that storage, so you cannot sold that to other people, huh? You cannot dispose the furniture. This is not the right way, huh? But you are disposing. So is this what you're doing with the best interest of the shareholder? No, the best interest would have been to store the furniture. If not that place, so some other place, huh? Hello. Selling, is this a convenient? Is this selling is going to be your convenience as an M, but is this a right in or this is the best interest that you would be giving to the S or what? No, no. So this was the reason
No.
that he was not able to, or he was not mean to be the agent over here. Okay. In Springer and Great Western Railway, a consignment of fruit was found. Consignment means कि when you transfer the inventory from one place to another in a bulk. Okay. So those are known as a consignment. Huh? Springer and Great Western Railway, a consignment of the fruit was found by the carrier to be going bad. The carrier sold the consignment locally instead of delivering it to destination. It was held that carrier was not an agent of a necessity because he could have obtained the new instruction from the owner of the fruit. He was therefore liable in damages to the owner. Okay. So have you understood the three case studies that we discussed, and is the things are the things clear? Like how we are putting the fact, how what is in held there, and ultimately, if we talk about, the rule by of the agency by necessity, they are the four things that you have to take care about, huh? कि principal की property interested थी, emergency situation was there. In that emergency situation, the communication was not possible, and because of the communication was not possible, so whatever we are doing will ensure that we are doing it in the best interest of the principal. Huh? The last thing which is there will gonna decide, or ultimately, have you seen this? Obviously, that key A, B, C are there and they are matching, but they are playing with the D. They are not doing things which are in the best interest of the shareholder, or not in the, but they are not best interest of the principal. Because of that, because of that, this would not be the case of the agency law by necessity. Or sometimes you see कि अगर ये agency by necessity का case बनता है, so the whosoever is an agent can able to claim the damages. Is that okay? Are we clear on this? Is there any doubt till now? Hello.
So can you explain the last two case studies also?
The last one.
The last two.
Last two. Okay, done.
Yes.
No worry, I will be doing that. Siddhant, is there anything that you would like to ask, brother?
No, sir.
All right. All going good?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Thanks. So, Samvid, the point of discussion is that, for example, कि अपन को ये देखना है कि when a person can be an agent, huh? So the concept of agency by necessity, okay, it could give rise to two things. कि यहाँ पे there are the four rules, 4 point which you need to learn that will decide whether something is agency by necessity or not. Okay, done. So can I
Yes.
call them as a rule? These are the rule, Hana?
Yes.
Okay, done. Abhi, there is one of the default thing that ki whatever, this is one of the default things. So we are less than 1 minute. Would it be okay if we just rejoin the class without a break? We will not be taking a break, huh? Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Done.